What's going on, world? It's your boy Rip, back with another weekly episode of Wednesday Wisdom. I do this every Wednesday on my YouTube and Facebook page. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. This week I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, what's most important in life. This past week there's kind of been some deaths prevalent. It kind of got me thinking about life and death. This last week, a singer from Chicago known as Johnny P passed away, and he was really prevalent in the Chicago hip hop and R&B scene, and I kind of grew up listening to his music, a lot of his music, and he kind of influenced a lot of my earlier stages of my music career. And for those that don't know, I ran Twista.net back in 2002, which was one of Twista's first, or was Twista's first official website, and then it became his fan page when his record label launched his official website. But my website was around before YouTube, MySpace, Facebook, any of those, and it was a huge forum for a lot of people, of Chicago rap fans in general, and Twista fans to kind of get together. So there was this community of just Chicago rap and hip hop fans. So people really got to know, not just Twista, but like Do or Die and Johnny P and all those other Chicago prominent figures, prominent hip hop artists in Chicago. And so I posted on Facebook this tribute to Johnny P because I grew up, I was a fan of his. And it just started going viral. It's still going crazy right now. And it started getting a ton of shares, a ton of comments, a ton of likes. I think right now, with this, it hasn't even been 72 hours since I posted it, and there's already like over 250,000 views. So it's just crazy. My Facebook page got like over 500 new likes just in the last 2-3 days. And it was just crazy. I didn't mean for it to go viral, but I mean, I was just showing tribute. I was paying homage to, this artist that I grew up on that really shaped my earlier stages of my musical career, and running Twista.net and being involved in the Chicago hip hop scene back then. I was able to, meet Johnny P. I did a few shows that, he was on the same bill and everything. So I put out this tribute because I was, really inspired by his music. And man, it just went wild. And I started to see how many people out there really loved and supported this dude. And he probably didn't even know all the support that he had, because I mean, it's still going crazy right now. Like all these people sharing it. And then there was also another local prominent businessman and figure in the area who, he's friends with some of my friends, and it's just kind of the same inner circle. His wife unfortunately passed due to a sad circumstance as well. And death has just kind of been really prevalent the last few days, and sad, unfortunate deaths and stuff, and it just kind of made my heart hurt and my heart cry a little bit for these people, and just realized how much people are really missed once they're gone, and it got me thinking, what is life really about and what's really important in life. So it brings me back to this book that I've been reading, or that I got, called God Never Blinks by Regina Brett. I read a few things out of this book in previous episodes, but I wanted to read this chapter on life and all that truly matters in the end. So I wanted to read a little excerpt from this book. There's a chapter in here, lesson number 43, called All That Truly Matters in the End Is That You Loved. Regina starts off, telling about how she wrestled with God for many years, and how she struggled with, her religion, and going to Catholic school when she grew up and everything. And then, towards the end of the chapter, she says, "Then I met Joe. At first I mistook him for the gardener. He wasn't wearing his Roman collar that day, and he didn't look much like a Jesuit priest, or any kind of priest for that matter. He stood at the door of the retreat house wearing a red flannel shirt and work pants. He had a big hook nose you could hang a coat on. His cheekbones jutted out like wings from his face. His back had a hairpin curve that made it impossible for him to ever sit comfortably in a chair or ever sleep on his back. Father Joseph Zabricki was the hunchback of the Jesuit retreat house. He became the light of my life. Joe gave us a talk about the God of his understanding, whom he called Jesus. Only it wasn't at all like any God I've ever heard about. Joe was in love with God and knew God was in love with him. He didn't let religion get in the way of that. Joe, one of God's most twisted, bizarre creations, Joe, who had every reason to resent his lot in life, all 206 twisted bones, only loved. After his talk, I confronted him in the hall. He let me dump all my baggage in his lap, all my arguments against the church, all of my confusion about who Jesus was or wasn't, all my resentments about the nuns and the Church of God. Was there such a place called limbo? What about purgatory? How could I believe the Pope, a mere human, was infallible? Joe just smiled. He wasn't going to argue. He He waited patiently till I finished ranting. He said the rules, the dogma, the church hierarchy, none of that mattered. He could see my exasperations, but his warm brown eyes filled with light, a light that came from the inside. He smiled like a man in love. Look, at the end of it all, God is going to ask you one question. Did you love? That's all that matters. Did you love? End of debate. End of wrestling match. God 6, Regina 0. Pinned for good. Pinned by love. That's an excerpt out of Regina Brett's book, God Never Blinks. Really good book. But basically, that's all that really matters in life. Love. Did you love? Not necessarily just your spouse or your partner, but, your family, your neighbors, people of all colors, all religions, all backgrounds. We're going through a real crazy time right now in this country, with the election and everything that just went on, and all I want to do is just remind you guys that all that really matters in life is love. And did you love? Forgive, and accept people for who they are. We're all accept people of the human race, not just of your race or other races. And I just wanted to extend that message to you guys to let you know that I personally feel that the only thing that really matters in life is love. Did you love? So I'll leave you guys with that. If you guys want to tune in, make sure you follow my Instagram page, my Twitter page. I could be found at Who Is Rip on both of those. Find me on Rip Music on Facebook. And I do these weekly Wednesday Wisdom episodes every Wednesday, so make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you follow me on social media. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week. God bless.